Hey everyone, it's Kai from Kool Collectibles back again for another review. This time it's the Hot Toys MMS256-D07 Iron Man Mark III diecast figure. For all your 1/6 scale figures and more, click the link in the description below to head on over to Sideshow Collectibles. They ship worldwide, so definitely check them out. Alright, so this figure has been a long time coming. It's been about 12 or 13 months since I pre-ordered this. But the original Iron Man movie has always been my favourite out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the original Mark III figure that Hot Toys released was pretty much going for insane prices on eBay when I was looking at getting an Iron Man figure. But luckily around that time they announced the diecast range and announced the Mark III. And I do love this armor. It's probably the most iconic one that I can remember from the cinematic universe anyway, because I can't remember the look of all the other various Marks. But this one here was the one that I remember most from the movie, and I'm definitely glad to finally have it in the collection because I don't know if it's just because it's my first Iron Man figure, but it is probably one of the most impressive figures that I've got in my collection right now. It's I'm actually really impressed with it, and I'll quickly go through all the accessories and the packaging, so just hold on a second. So the packaging is pretty much in the same style as all the other die-cast figures, but I do love the way they've done the sort of multi-layered line art on there, and the print work is pretty iconic, straight out of the comic, I think. So I do love that, and all the foam, it comes in two halves, just like the RoboCop. And the foam insert on the inside is a very thick and sturdy foam, so no issues in the protection of the figure there at all. With the accessories, it comes with, I think it's the usual Iron Man base. This time it says, the plaque says Mark III. I haven't bothered putting in the batteries, but you can put on the batteries, and these light up sections around the rim here will light up for you in a nice white. But I don't really like the stand in that it pretty much forces the figure to have the feet and the legs very close together. So I do like a static pose, but at least have the legs open a bit wider, just to give it a bit more of a heroic pose, as opposed to something stuck up your bum pose. So I probably won't use this that much at all. The accessories, because I got the exclusive version, it comes with this arc reactor present from Pepper Potts that she gave in, I think it was the first movie, must have been the first movie. And you can take this acrylic sort of plastic lid off. A bit of the detail there, prove that Tony Stark has a heart. And it comes with the batteries pre-installed, and you just pull the tab out, and it's surprisingly bright. If you can see that there, it's actually quite hard to look at directly, so I wouldn't recommend that. But it has a nice little hinge here to have a bit of motion. So I do like the fact that they included this, but I guess I did order the exclusive from Sideshow, and as I was saying, about a year ago, and unfortunately the stupid Australian dollar plunged 30% in that time. So I ended up paying just about $500 for this figure in Australian. Which is pretty crazy considering you can get the regular version in Australia from local retailers for about $100 less. So this little guy cost me about $100, but I guess because the figure itself is so awesome, I don't necessarily feel too ripped off, unfortunately. The rest of the accessories comes with this head sculpt, which is my first Robert Downey head sculpt, and I think it's actually pretty good. I did hear that it's reused from some of the other figures that they've released in the past, but considering it's my first, I don't mind that at all. And it does come with the faceplate, and so the faceplate has a couple of magnets there, and I think there is a magnet on the chin here, it looks like. So you essentially just place it on there, and you can have the face covered, or you can have it lifted up like so, like he's just lifted up his mask. So pretty good display option there. And this deep sort of candy red paint app, I've had QC issues on some of my Hot Toys figures in the past, but this one is probably the most perfect that I've received any of the Hot Toys figures for a long time. So definitely happy with that. And you do just swap it out with the ball peg, which I probably won't bother doing because I'm so paranoid about moving this guy around. The waist. One of the things that was first announced with this Mark III was that the waist had no articulation, and so I was surprised when they posted the final production photos and so on, where it was clear that it looked like it had articulation, but it's really just this curved piece that swaps out, that gives him that sort of curved torso, so we can do that landing pose. I have seen a few collectors on the web and so on post their pictures with varying success, but apparently it's pretty easy. I'm not going to bother trying because I've also heard of collectors scratching their paint trying to get it into that pose. But I'll show you how to disassemble the body anyway and be able to swap that around. But again, this is just a plastic piece, so no die cast on there, but it is nicely painted in that really nice deep red. The hands, it comes with 6 pairs of hands, no, 3 pairs of hands, sorry. So it comes with these wide open shooting palms, I guess, and these do have light piping, so you can have the light up feature on the arms and so on. I have installed all the batteries, which was surprisingly easy, so I'll show you guys the light up features in a second. And I do like that these aren't sort of rigid rubber, plastic, but they have a bit of give to them. And the paint app overall, again, is pretty damn awesome. By default, the figure comes with the fists, and I've already taken those off for the articulated hands, which I'll show you guys a bit later. So similar to the Robocop figure, they're swap out hands that have all their fingers articulated, which is a really nice touch. It also comes with panels that you can swap out. So these are the forearm missiles, I believe. Yes, the forearm missiles, and you can just take the panels off and place these on the figure. I probably won't bother doing that, but you get a feel for some of the detailing in the missiles there, so it's quite nice. But what I will do, I'll probably do it off camera and then post up some photos on the Facebook page and the website, so stay tuned and check in on some of the photos that I'll post up over the next few days. These 2 pieces are the shoulder mounted cannons, if you want, or the missile launchers, and I think these were used in that scene where he saves the father from being killed in the village, and he sort of targets about 6 or 7 of the terrorists and shoots them with these. So nice little feature there. It looks like it's attached on by little magnets, if I can actually get focus. So you can see some magnets there. And the final accessory are swap out hip joints. So these ones I think were there for flares or something like that, but I'll probably retain just the default ones, which have a bit of a cleaner look to them. It comes with the instruction manual, and for once I would say every collector who gets this, read the friggin' instruction manual. There was no way that I was going to mess around and change the batteries and change the parts without reading this, and it's actually quite comprehensive and very useful, so I'm definitely give it a read. Comes with batteries, so it comes with 3 that go in the head, 3 that go into the arm, and 3 of the bigger ones that go into the back. So I'll show you guys that in a second. And it also comes with this mini little screwdriver, which is pretty weak, so I would recommend getting a decent screwdriver that can have interchangeable heads, because you don't want to be stripping those screws. I'll show you the screws, one of the screws now anyway, so they're pretty small, and you don't want to be stripping that because the figure might not look as good with these screws a bit more evident. So what else? It does come with this weird clear plastic thing, so I'm not sure what this is really for, if it's for helping to put in the batteries or something, but I haven't actually used it. As I was saying before, putting in the batteries was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. I did hear a lot of complaints from collectors about the magnets and so on, making it really difficult, but I don't know, I just used my fingers and pushed them in there, and they all went in with no issue at all, so I'm definitely happy with that. But I think that's pretty much it for all the accessories, so I'll just get the figure and get back to you guys in a second. Hold on. Alright, and here is the figure, and I'll just slowly pan down and give you guys a nice close look. But the best thing obviously is this deep red candy paint app, and the gold as well. The gold itself is a nice sort of matte finish that really combines well with the glossy red. I think people were complaining about the shade of the red. It's probably not coming through on the camera here, but it's a much deeper red than I'm seeing in hand. It's almost a maroon, which I think is pretty accurate to the movie, so I can definitely not complain about it at all. And for a figure that has no articulation in this whole chest section, what articulation there is pretty damn impressive, for me at least anyway. But before I get into all the articulation, I'll just quickly show you the electronics, and then I can put all the covers and everything back on and actually get the batteries out before all the leakage issues, or I forget and leave the batteries in there and they start leaking. So with the head, you pretty much just take this face mask off, which just is held on by that little magnet there, and you'll see that I've already undone the screw there, and you put the 3 batteries in, and there is a switch, and it's pretty bright, and you put the mask back on, which will give you a bit of an idea like that, and it has the light up eyes, and I think that looks pretty damn cool. I'm not sure, people were complaining about the width of the eyes on previous Iron Man figures. I don't know if this particular one had any complaints, but for me, I'm probably not that anal, and I think it looks perfectly fine. So that's the eyes on the head. Sorry about my sniffling, by the way. I'm just finally catching up with the sickness of my kids. Onto the back anyway. So there is this panel here, which you can see the 3 batteries in there that I've already installed. So it's this panel here, and essentially it's pretty much goes on like so. So you get that nice clean look, and you put the larger screw in there. But essentially with that in, you just lift up this little flap here, and there is a little switch that you see there. So you switch that down, and you turn it around, and his arc reactor turns on, and it's nice white and bright as well, so definitely like that feature there. Alright, and the last light up feature is actually on the arm. So on the back of the arm, as you can see, there is another panel which has this smaller flip out piece. So I've taken that off, and you put the 3 batteries in there, and the switch itself is underneath the armpit here, and you just switch that on, and as you can see, it lights up his hand. I'm not actually sure how they do that, because when you take the hand off, it's just like a ball joint there. And I'm out of focus again. Sorry, not sure what happened to the focus there, but as you can see, yeah, as I was saying, I'm not sure how they do that, because the ball, it's just a ball joint. So it's pretty nice technology. I'm probably not across all the electronics on how they get that to work, but again, nice and bright and white. So definitely liking the light up features. But as always, everyone keeps saying to take out the batteries and not leave them in there for leakages. So I'll be doing that pretty quickly. But onto the articulation. Alright, so onto the articulation points that I'm probably disappointed in. I guess, as people were pointing out, there is no ab crunch or waist articulation. Now, I'm not necessarily disappointed in that, because I don't usually pose my figures in too dynamic a pose, and then most of them are in fairly static poses anyway. But I guess a bit of waist rotation might have been good. And the other part of articulation that I don't necessarily like is the ankles. The ankles do tilt up and down, and there is the toe tilt as well. But it would have been nice if there was a bit of ankle rocking action back and forth. There's probably the tiniest amount, but I guess with this particular suit and the way they've designed it, they didn't put any in. There's real no give on here. That's all sort of one piece. There is a bit of give when you tilt forward and back, but it would have been nice if he had a wider pose. You could just angle the ankles in to have his feet flat on the ground. But apart from that, all the other articulation I am actually really impressed with. The head goes back quite a fair distance, so it's almost on like two joints. So as you can see here, you can sort of give him the Egyptian mode, and then you can tilt his head up as well on a separate joint, so in that sort of flying pose. So definitely heaps of articulation there. In the arms, I thought these shoulder pieces were going to limit the articulation. These do have a bit of give, so you can sort of rotate that and fill that gap in. But I love how the shoulders right at the joint can sort of lower and raise a little bit, and they can go out. So there's like a separate joint that's just underneath here, so you can rotate the arms out like so. Oh, and I just noticed that there's another switch there. I didn't realize they were on both arms, but that obviously that would make sense. But with the articulation, you can rotate out. The arm pretty much has free 360 motion, so no issue there. Just have to be careful on how these lie and not sort of scratch the paint off. But with the bicep, or the high sort of bicep swivel, and that sort of articulation along that joint, that's pretty damn impressive for me. I do like that the elbow joint, I think on some of the previous figures the elbow joint was made of rubber, similar to the Robocop, I think, but here that all looks like plastic to me, and there's a lower joint and an upper joint, so you can pretty much articulate it to about 90 degrees like that. So there's a slight joint there and a slight joint there, and that is probably more than enough for me to have it in the pose that I would want. So definitely like that there's that option, and both arms sort of have that. This one's probably a bit tighter for me, but that angle is probably good enough for me regardless. So no issues with the elbows for me. So for the hips, I love how all these panels adjust and move as you move the hips. So as you move the hips out, that sort of piece comes out and lifts away, and you can sort of bend it a little bit as well, or tilt it out and so on. So as you can see, it does that sort of motion. So really good articulation there. And then it has the back and forth, and I think these panels also lift up. I haven't actually had it lift up yet, so I'm not going to try too much in case I scratch something. But the impressive thing for me again was this hip joint is sort of can rotate in and out, but then there is a separate joint just on the upper thigh that also rotates in and out, which I think is really nice. And then the knee is on a pretty heavy ratchet, so it goes to about there, so about 90 degrees, which is pretty good. And the knee joint doesn't seem too obvious as it's bent, like so. And again, the ankle, there's the ankle tilt forward and back, and this back panel does sort of lift away to give a bit more range of motion, like so. So I love how everything sort of adjusts out the way. So with the hips, very impressed with how those panels move out the way. I'll probably just have to try and tease these little ones out, just so you can have a bit more of the range of motion going forward, but mine will be pretty much in a static pose anyway. So that pretty much covers the articulation. I guess I haven't shown you guys the fingers. So if I just zoom in there, so each of the fingers is on a there's a number of joints. So you have the hinge at the first knuckle, and then the second knuckle, and then at the bottom. So you can get him into all sorts of hand gestures and so on, depending on how immature you want to be. So lots of options there, and these are the hands that I'll probably stick with for the display in my collection anyway. So now I'll get on to these chest pieces and how you take them off, and then how you sort of disassemble the body. Alright, so this chest piece here and then the torso bit here can be taken off, and it was very tricky the first time I tried to do it, and it's probably going to be something I can't do on camera again. So I'll just quickly take them off camera and give you guys a look at what it looks like underneath. Alright, so here are the torso panels removed, and I love the detail in all that sort of metal structure, skeleton around the suit. So the top piece, the bottom piece pretty much just clips in on these little clips along the side here. So you just sort of lift it out, and then you put the top piece on. So the clips on the side here sort of clip into the edges along there. So it all sort of fits in fairly nice and snug, and you just have to be careful that when you take the top one off, you don't scratch all the sort of paint along the edges here, so it sort of sits like so. I'm always paranoid, but the paint seems to be pretty thick, pretty sturdy, so hopefully there's not too many issues in the future. But that pretty much gives you an idea on why it's not there's no articulation in the waist and so on. It's just sort of one big plastic piece along here, which gets me to, I guess, with the die cast, I think the feet, the thighs here are die cast. I'm not sure, I think parts of the arm here are also die cast. So the figure's not, just like the Robocop, it's not extensively die cast, but there's enough to really give it a nice weighty feel to it, and that sort of extra build quality that you'd expect for this sort of price range. Now, to disassemble the body, on the back here you have two buttons inbuilt into this sort of spinal section. So the bottom one will detach, I think it's this button here, will detach the lower half, and this top button here I think, or one of those buttons, will detach the top half. So I'll do that off camera, because I'll probably end up breaking something if I try it on camera. But before I do that, and while I'm back here, I'll just give you guys a look at the panels, which can lift up. So you just gently lift these panels up, and you get these little metal flaps as well, which reminds me, whoever at Hot Toys has the job to put the plastic protection on these little flaps, and on the around the arms, that tapes them together and protects the paint app and so on. Shit, they deserve a special place in hell, because it took me I don't know, about half an hour at least to get the damn little plastic wraps off of these metal flaps, because you know, there's a big warning in the instruction manual that you know, they may bend and break and so on, and yet they've made it so difficult to get those damn plastic things off. So I finally got there, but God, it was an absolute bitch. So be careful when you do that, and don't break anything. But I'll get the whole torso section off and give you guys a look at that. Hold on. Alright, so here is the top part of his body, and here is the middle torso that I just took apart. So that fits in there, and all I had to do was press this button here and just jiggle it around and pull that off, and then this part here essentially fits on the lower part, and on this joint here. So you pretty much just clip that on like so, or you can grab the alternate torso and have that slip on like that. So you sort of get the feel that he's got his body twisted to the left, and the back here. If I can just clip that in like so. So you just clip that in and you get that nice curve up the back there. So I'm not going to bother trying to put it in that pose like I was saying, but you get the idea on how that would look with that torso piece on. So a pretty nicely designed feature, if you ask me, to make it more convenient to put him in that pose. One last button I forgot to mention is I think you can press this coccyx button, and I think it'll drop something down here. Can't actually see what it's going to drop unless it just drops this whole groin piece down, just to give you a bit more room to move the legs, but I won't bother doing that, but you get the idea on how that would work. So I'll be back and just finish up. Hold on. Alright, so that's pretty much it for everything that I wanted to show you guys about this new Diecast Mark III figure. Again, it's one of my favorite figures right now, and it's not because I'm on a new figure high at all. When I get something new in and it's crap, I always say that it's crap, but this one, with the light up features, the paint app, the articulation in the areas that it does have articulation, the swap out parts, the die cast, and the overall build quality, I've got to say this is one of my favorite figures in my collection right now. I can totally understand why Iron Man collectors get so addicted and need to get every single mark. Luckily for me, I'm not that attached to Iron Man, but definitely happy to finally have, I guess, an iconic figure to represent Iron Man in the collection. And this one here pretty much suits that requirement perfectly. So hopefully you guys like that look at the Iron Man figure. Hopefully you can click that subscribe button. I've got, for 1/6 scale, I've got the Enterbay Scottie Pippen coming in the next few days. But I've also got the NECA Aliens figures and the Tesla and Apollyon Transformers third-party figure reviews coming up as well. So hopefully you can stick around for all of that. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers. Bye.